London.
Now, I'm ready for this. My special guest is in the studio. It's 9:10. It's Edward Adu in for Jamoke, in Spirit, your Sunday breakfast show. This is about a brilliant book, The Secret Power of the Inner Alchemy. It's a new guide which seeks to unlock your inner potential. Inner Alchemy, if you're not familiar, is a modern practice which blends ancient teachings, psychology and practical exercises, beg your pardon, for mind, mastery and spiritual awakening. At this challenging time of the year, here to give us some spiritual wisdom is the author, Raffaele Ricci, who's here to tell us more. Thank you for joining us. And so much to ask you. What I love about this book, it reminds me of a book which I read back in the day, The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life, from Irving Goffman. When I was studying media at uni, I remember my lecturer saying this book describes life through a lens, or more or less we're all performers. Whatever we do in every aspect, we are performers. Would you say it's in a similar vein with what you've done with the book?
Absolutely. First of all, good morning, and thank you for having me here this morning. Yes, this book is actually the result of a personal journey where life forced me to understand that we are all performers, we are all the main actor of our lives, and the transformation that Inner Alchemy brought in my life compelled me to share it, and this is why the book was finally out.
Was there an experience? Did something happen which prompted you to go to explore this journey and say, look, I'm going to publish this book?
Well, let's say that what triggered the whole journey was something that happened in my life almost 12 years ago. At the top of my investment banking career, something happened that I was falsely accused of something quite bad within a transaction of my bank. So it was something that was unjust from a legal perspective, and I felt really unjust in terms of life, because I lost my career, my reputation in the scope of very few months. So I went into...
What was that like, working in that environment? And you are working with people, obviously, with money, funds, in finance, and suddenly you are in that predicament where you're accused of something that you haven't done, but then you find out, well, you get to the point where, as you say, that you're left with nothing.
Everything that I was attached of, I thought that it was me, my role, my wealth, my social and professional career disappeared suddenly for something that I felt really
Friends
unjust.
as well? Some friends?
Well, yes, I got new friends and I lost some friends, but because I went through this change. So what happened in my journey is that while the legal injustice was fought until the end and won, thankfully, I had to change my concept of the injustice of life, because actually this was a blessing for me. Now I can say, but at the time didn't feel like it.
Did it make you analyze people, or at least be certainly not scrutinized, but you were conscious of certain places you went to or people that you were associated with at the time?
Well, obviously, I realized how any working environment, and particularly the one in banking, is something that really have an impact on you mentally, in the way you think, the way you see life. That's why a lot of people don't like bankers. But it's not that bankers are different. That in every work profession, you are programmed to start to think in that way, and I only saw it when I got out.
So when you're on the other side, you saw this and thought, "Wow, this is this." Would you say at the time, when after the case, you said to yourself, "Gosh, that wasn't for me"?
No, I wouldn't say that, because to be honest, I'm back in doing some finance, but I do it in a completely different way, with a completely different purpose, with a different mentality in the last 2 years. What in general, Inner Alchemy taught me is that people are mirrors of us. So, and the reality, I realized that I was playing the game of life, not following the correct rules. thinking that, and when I embraced Inner Alchemy, I understood that in order to regain your power, you have to go from blaming the outside. So I had to take responsibility of also that event that was so unjust, because I had to accept that somehow I attracted it because I needed for a reason. At the time, I didn't understand the reason, but over my journey, I did. And basically I make an analogy in the book about comparing the game of life with a video game. And actually it's quite a good analogy, because I started to see when you play a video game, you are a player, you know that it's you with a software of the game which is perfect, which will send you enemies and friends as part of the game. And the way you play the game is that you learn from each challenge in the game.
Take control. And you've got to be the best.
Yeah, you stay focused in the moment, playing the game, and you know what is the objectives.
Yeah.
Now, in life, I realized that I was not in the present. I was always in my mind. So I had to readjust the way to play the game more in the present. And Inner Alchemy offers a very powerful practice for that.
Would you say, sorry to interrupt you, Dave, but saying the whole concept of the game, do you think that's like a corporation institutional thing? So if you want to excel, if you have to get on, because I've always heard this in previous conversations where friends have said to me, listen, if you want to get on, if you want to do this, you've got to play the game. But if you want to take control and do it your own way, you're not going to win.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, well, I compare it to life in general. It's a game. So you want to live life as a game and join it as a game, or you want to see it as something where it can be just and unjust. It's like, imagine playing a video game where you play and you start thinking, in the previous level, that character that wanted to kill me was very nasty, and oh my God, if I should have done that. No, you don't do that. You play.
Or like playing Super Mario Brothers, where you want to get the mushroom because you want more energy and you want to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that if you know where to go, level 2, the game will always give you a way to level 2.
Yes.
As long as you keep playing.
Yeah.
By the rules, so you learn from everything that goes wrong and you keep playing, and that's the trust in life that I had to regain. And I think that this journey for me really, and this event that triggered this journey really changed my perspective of life. I took the responsibility, but together with the responsibility you get two things that are very important. First of all, you regain your power, because if you are responsible for everything that happens in life, even the thing that you feel unjust, you regain the power of a creator, because then psychologically and subconsciously you are telling yourself, okay, you are responsible, therefore you are in charge. You are the CEO that can decide where to go. The second impact is that our mind, instead of focusing subconsciously to what is right or wrong, who to blame, what if, is going to focus on what I'm learning from this, which opportunity.
Would you perceive that? Would you perceive that as the negatives, not owning or not being responsible for your own actions? So, for example, if something goes wrong, or if I didn't get that job, or I wasn't able to fulfill or to complete that project, but then it's the blame game. Is it owning it and saying, well, look, the reason why that didn't happen is because of me?
Yes. And when there is something, for example, you said, there is an exam, I don't study enough, and I don't pass. Very easy to say, it's me responsible. But let's say you work hard, and you think you deserve a promotion, and you don't get it. So the approach is, okay, what can I do myself better? What can I change? Which vibrational level I need to arrive to in terms of starting to think, act, decide, speak, move, which word to use in order to be able to attract that situation.
Oh, trust me. As an example where I thought I went for a promotion, I didn't get it, and I'll tell you what, I felt really rough for about 2 or 3 weeks, and it was like, it was like me against the world. It's like, Then I just woke up one day and thought, no, why am I doing this? Why am I blaming everything? I need to pick up the pieces, and I need to get on. I need to literally develop or strengthen or even be on top of what I was trying to achieve, and even go for something even bigger and better. and that's what got me through it.
Exactly. So imagine the analogy with a video game. You go in the room of your plane. You don't. There is no exit to number 2, which is equivalent to get not a promotion.
Yeah.
You get out of the room and you start thinking, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
How do I find the exit? Or you stay there and say, oh, the room.
Dwelling on it, ruminating.
Yeah, obviously, we need to know our mind, we need to know our emotion, and we go through this process. But one thing is to feel like that and recontrol the mind to refocus or have an emotion and actually use it. One practice that is in Inner Alchemy, the transformation of lead into gold in the ancient Inner Alchemy is again another analogy how we can transform, for example, the energy of our emotions into something lead into gold. So even when in this process, the energy of emotion can become a precious ingredient that we can transform, because they can bring us information if we manage them in a certain way.
Is that based on the environment or a particular, I don't know, it could be environment or place or connected to work or generally everything?
I think this is really like a practice. You know that sometimes people that have a lot of anger, they manage to rechannel it and become boxer, I don't know, or something. And this book explains how to do it as a practice, how to really change the energy of emotion. In the case of anger, the same energy, emotional energy that is anger at a low frequency, when it's brought to a higher frequency, becomes determination, action, discipline, leadership. Sometimes this happens naturally. I rechannel that energy. People say that. Or we can do it with proper technique, using breathing, visualization, mind control. And
also people you're around, associated with, because I've found that some people who obviously bring sort of negative energy. For example, if you said to them, oh, this is what I want to do. Oh, no. I remember, years ago when I said to friends of mine, when I want to get into radio, and there was some stumbling blocks. And I remember a friend of mine saying to me, oh, mate, forget about that. Just go and get an office job. And not disputing that, but that wasn't the support I needed. So I took what they said, parked it, and I didn't mention anything to them. I just kept going.
And what happened? When you have a project, sometimes we can share it with somebody because we want feedback.
Yeah.
Or sometimes subconsciously we want to share it to validate ourselves with others.
Yeah.
So if we do it with the right intent and we go to the people that can give us feedback, we usually find people that give us constructive feedback. If we go there to say, I want to say about this project, so that the guy tell me how good I am.
Yeah.
Then vibrationally, we attract. Somebody will say, you're gonna make it. So again, we attract those people. So it depends how we think. So there is it's an approach that I totally agree with what you said.
And this is all aspects of the book which I'm fascinated about, and obviously the secret power of the inner alchemy. And also, there is a spiritual aspect to this, isn't there?
For me, initially, it was a very mental approach, because I couldn't understand why I got into that, what I thought was an injustice. So for me, it was first a mental reading and a learning about all this practice. Then there was a practical element where you, by being more mindful in the present moment, you connect with a part of you that is a bit deeper. And then become spiritual, because the more you are connecting with the video game, the more you play as a player, the more you feel connected. It's me and the video game, and whatever I do, the video game responding. And you develop this love for life, but the perfection on how the game manifests. And in life, it's not that everything is perfect in the sense that there are nothing that we should fix, but they manifest perfectly. That's a very different between, accepting the beauty of life. Yes, we accept the beauty of life in the sense that it unfolds as perfectly as a video game does. Then we can decide which direction we want the video game to go. So,
how would you convince someone who's cynical about it, and when you explaining the video game analogy and they're saying, well, it doesn't work, and it's like, no, I tried it, and and listen, I've had conversations with people who are cynical, and you try and at least give them an example, and it's tough.
I like to use analogies. So I use this one with one of the teacher from last century of Inner Alchemy, George Gurdjieff, who used to use in his awakening school, which was, imagine a coach with two horses, a coachman and a passenger.
Yeah.
The coach represents you, your body and where you're going. The two horses represent your emotions and your passions, your creativity. So the one that drives you. The coachman is the mind, and the passenger is your higher self, the deeper part of you, the soul, call it as you want. So if we are in a low state of awareness, we identify with the mind. And the mind is the coach, which, by the way, act around 80-90% subconsciously, and it goes wherever the input are coming. So awakening and embracing what you said, it means that we calm the mind and we start to talk with the passenger, which knows in which direction to go in each part of life, money, relationship, career, and so on. So every answer becomes an answer that you find within. So I told them, if you want to speak to your passenger, which knows better than you where to go, this is a practice. I don't try to convince people. I think everybody's in a different journey, and just try it. If you think that life is played in a different way, where you can about blaming, or it's about regaining the power. And for me, it was so transformational that I just suggested and try to believe it and see how it goes.
It's fascinating. I think that the book is great, and it's certainly, I think, it discusses, it outlines, and reaches out to conversations or subjects connected with alchemy, which I don't think they're often discussed.
No, it's a practice that has been a little bit under the radar screen. Obviously, combined a lot of things that you find.
Why is that?
I'm not sure. For some reason, there are two teachers in Italy that I follow, and I from many years, that are the first one that took these ancient teachings that go really back, which are sometimes are very proposed in a very complicated way with a lot of different words, and very difficult to understand to normal. Put it in practice, most importantly, and. And they did it, and I saw that in English there was nothing that was presenting alchemy in a modern, practical, actionable way. So here we are.
Here we are. The book is The Secret Power of the Inner Alchemy by you, Raffaele Ricci, independently published as well, and it's available now, and also as an independent publisher. Is that tricky for you?
No, to be honest, I will probably send it to some publishing company at one stage, but I just wanted to put something where I could put my experience and the benefit of this practice in a way. I wanted to integrate also some of the meditations and music mind journeys, as I call it, that I did before publishing the book. Because the two practices that really helped me were meditation and then inner alchemy. Meditation was very good in order to calm the mind.
Yeah.
But inner alchemy gave me the tools to play the game now that my mind was a little bit more rest. Meditation was so important that initially I combined it with music to make it more easy and more enjoyable, and also infused with inner alchemy to make more transformational. And all this, I launched an app to do this a few years ago, and the next step is to do it with a book. So the book is also integrated of some meditation that you can go through the book while you're reading.
Thank you so much for your time. Just a reminder, Secret Power of the Inner Alchemy by Raffaele Ricci is available now. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And I know it's 9:30 on a Sunday. You probably think I should have been in bed. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you.
BBC Radio London, celebrating community.
See, I want everyone